How do you manage to balance your passion, which takes you clearly to a lot of interesting places? How do you manage that with your studies?
I used to complete every my school stuff in school so that I have time after coming school. I have time for doing these space activities.
Right.
And my parents stopped telling me to study, to do homework from third grade.
Beyond that, what is a career that you're looking at for yourself? Do you see yourself as a scientist? Do you see yourself as an astronaut?
For me, main is I'm more interested towards medicine, human space flight. Human bodies are the complex system in the world.
Why an analog astronaut and why so young at 13? When did you start your space dreams?
I used to go to terrace with my dad, watch night skies and ask him several questions. I was very passionate about it. I want to prove my parents that, this is my dream and this is what I want to do.
Right. Hello and welcome to the Space Club of India. I'm Sandeep Unnithan and I'm joined by a very interesting guest today, Inaya Pragathi. She's one of the youngest analog astronauts on the planet. She's 13 years old and she plans to go to space. Iniya, welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me here.
Iniya, what do you do as an analog astronaut? How fascinating. Why an analog astronaut and why so young at 13? When did you start your space dreams?
I started my interest towards space when I was 5. But it was very basic. I used to go to terrace with my dad, watch night skies and ask him several questions. And, those questions started, my father got so frustrated that, I asked him so many questions. So then, he gave me his laptop and, he was like, go ask it whatever you want. And I was, putting all my unanswered curious questions into it. Then I started learning about very basic, like what is solar system, what are these planets, moon and everything, very basic. Then that that drove me very deeper. I started learning everything and at a point that I want to be an astronaut. So when I was 7, I had a meeting with my both the parents and myself.
When you were 7 years old?
Yeah. So I told them that, I want to be an astronaut. And I was very serious about it. And, as, every parent, every humanity dreams to be an astronaut at some point.
Right.
And they were like saying, okay, you be an astronaut. They didn't care that much.
Right.
But I told them that, I'm taking this very serious. And, if I go to the outer space, it means that I don't exist in the world. If I come back, okay, I'm back. But if I didn't, then okay, that's a big message for humanity. Like they will be improve further the next expeditions. So my mama was like, she, can't you just study like an ordinary kid and get some degree and work? But I was like, okay. Then, I was very passionate about it. I want to prove my parents that, this is my dream and this is what I want to do.
Right.
So then, they started to, realize and they started to support me. So for those who don't know me, I'm Inaya Pragathi. I'm an youngest astronaut candidate from Titan Space Industries undergoing a 4-year extensive training to go to low Earth orbit in next 4 years. My first year have been undergoing in phase 1, and I'm also an youngest Analogue Astronaut. Have done 5 global missions, and my very first mission was a Martian mission in Brazil. It was from Habitat Marte.
Right.
So it was long duration, 20 days.
20 days.
In virtual.
How old were you when you went for this mission?
11.
Right.
Yeah, it was virtual.
You were 11 years old when you went for that mission.
Yes.
Right. So, 11-year-olds, when kids are that young, were you the youngest person there in that mission?
Yes.
What did it feel like?
Feeling like youngest, not much, because I was very much into my research and my responsibility as a greenhouse and sanitation officer. Then, my research was in plant growing in space extreme conditions.
Right.
So then I got into lunar mission in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2 consecutive mission. In my first mission, biosigna time, I did a plant research in like various species of plants in an extreme environment,
Right.
which has a very high like production,
Yeah.
which has a high growth.
Right. Right.
And then I continued it my second lunar mission consecutive, which was Mission Impossible, but we called it Mission Possible. So then I have a question for you.
For me.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Go,
So
shoot away.
so do you think that which plant has a higher growth? Is it the plant which is smaller or taller?
The plant that's smaller, I would imagine.
Okay, why?
You tell me. You're the expert.
Okay. So in my research, I didn't give my plants a full water, nutrition. I didn't
Right.
give it a favorable condition to grow.
Right.
I gave it a minimal light,
Hmm.
like a light for 1 hour, and 5 days it was not, because when we have all the conditions within us,
Right.
we don't we will be in our comfort zone. We don't
Yes.
come out.
Right.
So when we have less resources around
Yes.
us, we'll be exploring and doing stuff.
Right.
So my plants, I saw that a plant which is smaller, shorter, have the longest roots.
Right.
And the plants which are taller
Mhm.
have a very less root, and it is less survivable.
Okay.
So then last year I was in Arctic in Devon Island, Mars on Earth.
Right.
So
In the Arctic.
yes,
Right.
in Devon Island. It is called Mars on Earth because the geographical conditions and everything looks similar to Mars.
Right.
No life there, nothing.
Yeah.
Just isolated. So then there I saw that the terrains and stuff were similar to Mars, and I truly felt that I've not been to Mars, but I truly felt that this is Mars, like during my mission. And there the trees would be only 2 inches,
Right.
but it will be very spreaded in the ground. Yeah, and the life there is very fascinating. I have also taken various researches on group behavioral,
Right.
the life there, and microplastics, which is dangerous.
Right. You're also studying, you're in school. So
Yes.
how do you manage to balance your passion, which takes you clearly to a lot of interesting places? How do you manage that with your studies? Don't your parents tell you to, Iniya, have you done your homework? What is your homework?
Okay, so to be frank, I used to complete my school stuff in school, so that I have time after coming school. I have time for doing the space activities.
Right.
And my parents stopped telling me to study, to do homework from 3rd grade, because before they used to tell me, pressure me to study, you have to focus on this, don't get distracted in space activities. But when they pressured me, I felt like, okay, I have to do this. I don't know why I did that. So I have to do it for some reason. I don't
Right.
know why I have to do. So that time the results were not that much great.
Right.
But once I started love what I do, I use connect my space research with the study which I study in school. I used to connect, and it becomes very very interesting.
Right.
So then I started studying myself. My parents don't tell me to do homework. Have you studied? They don't pressure me out. They don't do that.
Right. That's interesting to hear. And Iniya, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Low Earth orbit?
Yes, I'm an astronaut candidate, but I'm not sure I will fly
Right.
or not. But for me, the main thing is the journey, the process,
right.
connecting the dots. I want to be an astronaut, and I'm into the journey of preparing to be that. I don't know whether I will be
Right.
or not, but I'm just loving the journey.
Right.
Yes.
And what does a typical day in your life look like when you wake up in the morning? What do you dream of, for instance? Do you dream of Mars all the time, or is there something else that you think about?
A day of my life.
Yes.
So, I just wake up. Okay, during the weekends or during the weekdays?
Through the day, through the week.
Through the week. Okay, during my weekdays, I have to get up, get ready for school. After come back, all the stuff there in school. So then after school, I have to come do my research, continue, learn, and space activities and stuff. For me, there is nothing called as weekend or leave.
Right.
Okay, in summer holidays, I don't consider that as a leave. I consider that as a time where I can put all my effort into
Study
space.
time. Right.
Yeah, into space.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And what is a career that you're looking at? Once, of course, the journey, as you mentioned, is really important. But beyond that, what is a career that you're looking at for yourself? You see yourself as a scientist? Do you see yourself as an astronaut? Uh, Starting your own company, for instance? What do you have in mind?
Well, being an astronaut is a multidisciplinary thing. So, I thought of starting my company, but then I will be, so much distracted into that. So, I won't have any enough time to do my space thing and my school. So then, for me, main is I'm more interested towards medicine, human space flight. Human bodies are the complex system in the
Yes.
world, and I love human body. Before I was like eating junk foods, but now it was like I started caring about my body. I started loving myself. Yes.
Like you mentioned about the plants that eat very little and
Yeah,
conserve energy.
yes.
That's the philosophy that you follow. But this is fascinating how you developed an interest in space so early on, and you've continued it. Of course, your parents have been extremely supportive. How important is it for you to have supportive parents when you have a dream as ambitious as yours to go into space?
My parents are really supportive towards me,
Yeah.
and also my school is very, very supporting in me in various aspects. So in parenting, I would say that don't assume that your child is going to be this or that.
Right.
This is one life, and do what you want to be. My parents told me that they wanted me to put in music career. Even
Right.
I went to music classes.
Why music? Do your parents have a musical background?
Initially I was good at singing, so
Right.
I still love music. I
Yeah.
listen, I sing, but my interest was not that. My interest was in space. I want to be an astronaut.
Right.
So do what you want and don't second think.
Right. Very interesting. Do what you want and don't second think. Now, what in the next couple of months, as you're, building up towards that low Earth orbit mission of yours, which you said is 4 years from now, 5 years from now, what are the next steps towards that? Where do you plan to move to? Do you have any interesting journeys ahead of you in the next few months?
Yes. Actually, I was planning my US analog mission in Utah
Right.
2 years back, but then due to several high fidelity missions, I have to postpone it. Then next year it's planned, but due to some financial constraints, this year I couldn't go, so it is planned next year.
Right.
So then I'm planning to also go to
Right.
Antarctica, and yeah, there are several things planned.
What are you going to do in Antarctica?
In Antarctica, I'm very passionate about the life there.
Right.
I'm morely into that. So then
How to live in adverse conditions.
yes,
Right.
so my major research was in human performance in extreme environments.
Right.
So human performance in various extreme environments. So and the climate change,
Right.
which is occurring now.
Yes. A little while earlier, we were talking about how humanity could survive in lava tubes on Mars. Tell our viewers what lava tubes are and why they could be bunkers on Mars for humans.
For me, I want to go to Mars. That's my final destination. But first, I want to go to Leo, low Earth orbit.
Right.
Then to Moon, which is acting as a transportational refueling station.
Yeah.
So then to Mars.
Right.
And to reach Mars, it takes time. It is
Yeah.
not like next day I'm going to be there. It takes time to make it habitable, to people go there and live.
Right.
So in Moon, the recent thing, which there are lava tubes. So before the Moon used to have like a functional volcanic activity, like lavas running through, which is forming tubes. And now those tubes in some places on Moon have been like a broken, like kind of like a hole, so in which there will be very much habitability that many humans can live on it. But the temperature, the conditions, like is it whether it is strong or not, but we have to check it. But this is something that one thing which we have it.
Right. And that is possibly one way that you don't have to build structures.
Yeah, because building a structure outside on the surface creates a much more difficulty than living on the tubes, which is like acting as a bunker. Inside you can live it, favorable conditions.
Right, like a silo or something, which is a very interesting new sci-fi series that I've been following. But thank you so much, Iniya. It's been so good speaking with you. I actually learned a lot about space and space travel talking to you in these past few minutes. And I wish you all the very best in your endeavors ahead. May you go to low Earth orbit, the Moon, and to Mars and beyond.
I would like to conclude with a thanks note. So thanks for thank you everybody who's helping me in this journey. My school management, especially Dr. K.R. Malati ma'am, my mentor, and Satyanarayanan, and also Neil, the head of Titan Space, for giving me this wonderful opportunity, believing that young people can make a change in this world. And my astronaut mentors, my four Gaganyatris, they are a good friend and a good mentor for me. And various other peoples I can't name, but there are so many peoples to name. So I would like to thank each and everybody who's in my journey to supporting me towards my astronaut career.
Right. And on that note, Iniya, thank you very much for joining us here on the Space Club. We'll be following your progress very closely as you move from low Earth orbit to Moon and, of course, to Mars and beyond. Thank you very much for being on the Space Club show.
And Mars is my destination. And my mission is to bring back humanity back to Earth. That's my purpose.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Iniya.
Thank you for having me.